What's up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video, and Shazam! Fury of the Gods, the latest DC movie to come to theaters, and the last DCEU movie before the big reset that is The Flash, coming out in June. I'm very excited for that one, alright? I'm really hyped for The Flash, but for Shazam! Fury of the Gods, well, let me start here. I saw this movie on opening night, Thursday night, and I took a couple days to think about it because my initial thoughts were very negative. I thought this movie was just filler, a skippable movie, forgettable, and I still think that, but I have more positives than I did a couple days ago. I didn't want to come in too negative with this review because this movie is not a bad movie. It's not terrible, it's watchable, but it's not a good movie either, and it's very disappointing. So I'm gonna start with the negatives just to get them out of the way, alright? Because I want to get to the positives and then get to spoilers at the end. If you haven't seen the movie, you can watch for now, but in the middle of the video, I'll put like a spoiler warning and then you can hop off. But let's talk about the negatives, alright? First off, the villains. The villains in this movie are not good. We got Lucy Liu, who's generic. She's one of the Daughters of Atlas, and she's literally the epitome of generic villain from the early 2000s. And then we got Helen Mirren, who she tries to act well and be a good villain, but she's not given good material at all. And towards like the third act, her character is not treated well. And then we got the other Daughter of Atlas, and I just don't care about her character. Like, basically, the Daughters of Atlas, going into this movie, I was not excited for them as villains, but I gave them a chance, and they didn't prove me wrong. I thought they would not be good villains, and they were not. Now, another negative is the third act of this film. The third act of this film tries to do something kind of interesting, but it just falls flat. Like, the third act, it drags for a little bit and then rushes to the conclusion, and I was not invested at all. And it's just the final plan of the villains, I was like, really? That's it? Like, it has some depth if you think about it a little bit, but that depth was not shown enough on the screen. It's one of those ideas that sounded good on paper, and I'll get into that in the spoilers section, but they didn't really develop it well or go that deep into it for the third act. So yeah, the third act was not good, the villains were not good, and this entire film just felt like it was going through the motions. The beginning is just like, okay, we got the Shazam family, there were the Philadelphia or the Philly fiascos, and they're trying to be a family. Billy Batson, Shazam's trying to be a leader, but every family member has their own thing going on, and we have these new villains, and it just feels like a generic plot, and there's not really that much surprises. The surprises come in the third act, but most of those surprises are rushed, and just, it felt like they just put into the script at the last moment, and I didn't really like that. So yeah, those are my big negatives. Just the third act, the villains, the rushed nature of the story, and really the story itself. Like, I was not invested in the story. It just all felt generic and filler. Like, alright, we can't use Black Adam, we can't do the 7 magic lands, both awesome ideas. Like, there's a lot of opportunities. I'll go into a waste of potential that point in a second, but yeah, they could have did Black Adam, 7 magic lands, but no, we can't do that. They decided not to do it, so they came up with a story where the Shazam family goes up against the Daughters of Atlas, and it just doesn't work for me. Now, I will say that some people might enjoy this. There is an audience for it, like, it's a family-friendly movie, and some people might like that story, and that actually goes into my positives, okay? I want to talk about some positives. The family dynamic in this film is strong. The family dynamic and the comedy in the first Shazam were the best parts, and they are here as well. And the family dynamic, starting with that, it's really good. We got Freddie Freeman. He gets a lot of great parts in this movie. He's dynamic with Billy Batson. Billy Batson, as always, a great lead character. Both the actor who plays Billy Batson and Zachary Levi, who plays Shazam, do a great job. And then the other family members are really fun to watch on screen. So yeah, the family dynamic really carries it. The family dynamic makes this movie go from, okay, I could care less about this, very skippable, and generic, and honestly, maybe a bad movie to okay, it's just a decent movie. That's what I would say. The family dynamic and then the comedy. The comedy I liked. The comedy actually was good. There was some bizarre moments in this film that made me laugh, and there's actually one moment in this movie where Helen Mirren's character, one of the daughters of Atlas, she reads this letter, and it's hilarious. It's paced well, the comedy has good timing, and I gotta give it credit. So yeah, comedy and family dynamic carry this movie, alright? It makes the movie watchable, and I would say worth going to the theaters if you want that, alright? Especially if you're going as a family. If you're a family and you just want a fun movie, nothing too serious, nothing groundbreaking, nothing really great, but just decent, then this movie might be for you. But for me, I feel like this movie just is disappointing. Like, the comedy and family dynamic, good, and I already listed my negatives with the villains and third act, but the main thing that disappoints me is all the potential that is just not used here. Like, yeah, we could add Shazam versus Black Adam. That's the first thing that everybody talks about, and I gotta mention it here, but other than that, we could actually add the 7 magic lands, that whole storyline, or at least split that storyline up in this movie and then had it continued in the third movie. But no, instead, we don't get that. Like, there was so much potential laid out in the first Shazam, and honestly, how I would do a Shazam trilogy is, okay, you got the first movie, I love it, it's a great movie, one of my favorite DC movies, and then the sequel, I would did Shazam versus Black Adam, and then the third movie, I would do the 7 magic lands, and have Black Adam return and team up with Shazam against Dr. Sivana and the Worm. So that sounds like an awesome trilogy, but instead we got, okay, a great first movie, then a second movie that is filler, and then we have some setup for the third movie that will probably never happen. And yeah, I'm just done with this whole, okay, we're gonna get these great things with Black Adam and Shazam, but we know we're not gonna get them because we're getting a whole new James Gunn DC universe. So it's just all this potential going away, and it would have been so cool to see on screen, and it just disappoints me as a comic fan. So yeah, I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 10. I originally gave it like a 5 out of 10 a couple days ago in my mind, like I thought about it, but the more I think about it, the comedy and family dynamic do carry it up to a 6, and it's just okay. It's a okay filler movie, alright? And I'll probably forget about it in a week's time, which is unfortunate because the original Shazam has stuck with me all this time. I love that movie. I've rewatched it a couple times, and I was hoping the sequel would do the same thing. So yeah, 6 out of 10. Now, here's your spoiler warning, because I'm about to talk about some spoilers, big spoilers in this movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, hop off and then go see it at the movie theaters, and then come back to this video to watch my spoiler section. So starting off with the spoilers, are you gone yet? Okay, I'm thinking you're gone, you're going to the movie theaters. Alright, spoilers. So, the big cameo. Michael Gray from the original Shazam TV show in the 1970s, which I think was 1972 to 1973. Yeah, he shows up in this movie. I'm not gonna lie, that actually caught me off guard, and it was really cool. In the third act, you have this moment when Shazam is fighting the dragon Lucy Liu, and he's protecting the citizens of Philadelphia, and you see this one guy come out and he calls him Captain Marvel. And when I looked at this character, I'm like, okay, this random guy, wait, that's Michael Gray, the guy who played Shazam in the original TV show. And I just like that. I always like when movies pay homage to a previous actor who played the lead character. It's just so cool. So that was a great cameo. Now to the bigger cameo, Wonder Woman. And okay, I didn't like this cameo. I'm not gonna lie, this cameo was weak and rushed, and it just added to the third act problems, the rushed nature of it. So, at the end of the film, Shazam, Billy Batson, sacrifices himself, beats the Daughters of Atlas, saves Philadelphia, saves his family, and he dies. So, all of a sudden, the wizard is like, oh, if only we knew another god that could use my staff and bring Shazam back, bring the champion back. and it just so happens that Wonder Woman, she didn't know what's going on. She didn't really, it was really 5 minutes after Shazam died, like barely after he died, and all of a sudden Wonder Woman just shows up out of nowhere, saves Shazam, brings him back to life. They have a quick interaction that is kind of nice, but really just rushed and not really that deep at all. And then Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, leaves again. It's a 1-minute cameo and it's disappointing. And they basically tease and foreshadow the cameo throughout the film. Wonder Woman gets mentioned a lot, and there's even like a bizarre scene where the wizard's head is on Wonder Woman's body, which that was actually funny. It really caught me off guard. I was like, what the heck am I watching? But it was good. And yeah, the foreshadowing was good, but Wonder Woman's actual arrival in the film was weak. And okay, they play the Wonder Woman theme when she shows up, and when I hear the theme, like when I was watching the film and I heard that theme, I was like, oh, okay, something's about to go down, but nothing really happened. Like, it just doesn't make sense to play the Wonder Woman action theme just for her to show up and use a staff and bring Shazam back to life. Like, I was expecting her to actually fight in the final fight against the Daughters of Atlas. That would be a lot better, but no, instead we got a quick, rushed cameo. And I want to talk a little more about the third act. So, Greek mythology. This movie is heavy in the Greek mythology. We got the Daughters of Atlas. We get a lot of background on Atlas, and in the third act, they release all these Greek mythology monsters. On paper, this sounds great. Because you're like, okay, you get all these monsters show up and there's maybe some depth to them. Maybe you can learn about their stories. And no, they're just random monsters that show up and you don't really get that much context about it. And I know some people are probably like, oh, I don't really care about Greek mythology. You don't need the context. They're just monsters for our heroes to fight. But me, I actually like Greek mythology, and I was hoping to actually get more context about it, not just to see these random monsters show up and they just get defeated so easily. And it's just, okay, to drag the movie on. Like, the Greek mythology was more of a drag than a add-on to the movie. Like, it was more negative than positive, in my opinion, alright? When Greek mythology is involved well, example, Justice League Unlimited, in season 1, there's a lot of Greek mythology, and it's done great. It incorporates with the storytelling well. The ties to Wonder Woman are really good, but in this movie, the ties to Shazam, not as great. I like the idea of the Daughters of Atlas coming to Earth and trying to take back what is theirs. Like, okay, Shazam, he got all these powers and these gods, but no, it should be with the Daughters of Atlas, or with Atlas and the gods. Like, this mortal, this champion shouldn't take those powers. Like, I like that idea, but it isn't realized to its full potential here. I feel like a lot of the story and ideas in this film are not realized to their full potential. They're just kind of surface level. That's what I'd say. And yeah, let's go on to the end credit scenes, okay? Which the end credit scenes were so weak. Starting out with the first one, we have Harcourt and what's his name? The two characters from Peacemaker. Harcourt and another guy, which you guys can tell me in the comment section, I forgot his name, but Harcourt, she shows up and she tries to recruit Shazam into the Justice Society. And when I watched this, I was like, wait, what? Like, I thought The Rock's universe and this whole Justice Society is done. In Black Adam, you had the Justice Society, and you had Sabbac, this whole story, and you had set up for Superman, but then James Gunn said, nope, we're not doing that, which that's fine, you can do that. But then here, you have an end credit scene that talks about the Justice Society who were in Black Adam, and now Shazam's joined the Justice Society, which that doesn't, we're gonna have a universe reset. And I know some people might say, oh, they filmed this end credit scene so they gotta include it. No, they don't have to, just scrap it, because it's so confusing. It confused me, and I follow DC a lot, it confused me. I was like, what? And actually, check it out, we got Shazam in a JSA shirt. I did not expect this shirt to actually fit with the movie. I was about to have a new Shazam shirt be made, but this shirt fits perfectly, especially with the end credit scene. But still, that end credit scene is so confusing. And for me, I could kind of follow along. Like, I just think, all right, this end credit scene was just, they just added it in there, and it's not gonna lead anywhere, and that's it. But normal audiences are probably be so confused because, okay, you had a Superman end credit scene that got people hyped. Now you got this Shazam join the Just Society. And I know people now know that the Superman one is not true, it's not continuing, but they haven't said anything about this Shazam and Just Society. So is that continuing? I actually hope it doesn't. Like, I don't want, like, Shazam is not supposed to continue. It's so confusing trying to figure out what's going to continue and not. And I know James Gunn showed a lot of his phase 1, or not phase 1, chapter 1 slate for his new DC movie universe, and I liked a lot of it. But when James Gunn does stuff like this and keeps these end credits in or confuses the audiences, it kinda gets me skeptical for what's to come. And to make matters even worse, going on to the second end credit scene, we see Dr. Sivana again, and the worm shows up, and Dr. Sivana is ready to go, but then the worm is like, I got one more thing to do, and that's it. It's literally the same end credit scene from the original Shazam, just slightly modified. And what's even worse is I kind of saw it as like a slap in the face. Like, okay, us fans are waiting for something to happen. We're waiting for some content that isn't filler. We're waiting for the big thing in this DC universe, some big movies. And just like how Dr. Sivana is waiting for his time in the spotlight, and you got the worm who shows up like, oh, no, wait just a little longer. It's the same as James Gunn being like, oh, wait, just a little bit longer, and I will wait. The Flash is coming out. I'm hyped. I'm still hyped for the movies coming up, upcoming movies, but for this end credit scene, both of them, they just don't work. They don't work at all, and it confuses the audiences. It kind of feels like a slap in the face to at least me, alright? I was like, really? You just gonna show me another Dr. Sivana in prison? And I know we're not gonna get a third movie, and even if we do, like, 10 years down the line, this movie, this entire Shazam sequel just is filler, and I don't like that because I feel like Shazam deserves more. He deserves a big movie, a good continuation, good progress, not just a filler movie that will be forgotten. And if you guys did enjoy this movie and thought my review was very negative, I'm sorry about that. I'm just giving my honest opinion. I'm glad you enjoyed it, but what about this? If you enjoyed the movie or not, and if you agree with me or not, go down below in the comment section. Tell me your thoughts on this movie. Rate it down below. I give it a 6 out of 10. And yeah, what do you guys think about Shazam's trilogy so far? Like, will there be a Shazam 3? I don't know. Are you hyped for The Flash? I am. I'm very hyped for The Flash. Are you hyped for a Blue Beetle? I am. Aquaman, I'm a little more worried now because this Shazam sequel wasn't good. Will the Aquaman one not be good as well? I'm gonna give it a chance, obviously, but I'm more skeptical. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching and peace out.